bus go round and round all day long.
So in Australia, and particularly New South Wales, where Royal Far West has done most of our work, we have just seen time and time again that in rural and remote areas, the access to healthcare is very, very limited. Particularly areas where there's a high Aboriginal community, but not only just restricted to that. The lack of paediatric services is very real, specialist health services and particularly allied health. The Australian Early Development Census shows us that in the worst areas, 1 in 2 children can really be very developmentally vulnerable. And that is because of the lack of consistent services out there. So you might have a specialist allied health person who might go and live in an area for 6 months, but they really want to be developing their career in the big smoke. And so it's very hard to get that continuity of service. And if somebody's missing for a while, even if they're replaced, by the time they get a new person in, there's just a huge waiting list. And it can lead to people having to wait 1.5 years to get specialist services. A lot of the time they've got to be referred to a major city, which can be many hours away. We just had one of our programs, a family travel 5 hours each way just to get some assessment done. If they've got to do this repeatedly, it's time consuming, it's expensive. Quite often what happens is a family may choose not to get their child assessed or to follow through with referrals. Certainly to help overcome these lack of services that many organisations, both in Australia and also globally, such as the World Health Organisation, are looking at creating best practice models of integrated care. Nobody can do everything, not one organisation can cope with it all. But if we do work together, that's government, that's private, that's non-government organisations such as Royal Far West, hopefully we can drastically improve the health services offered to these children. Royal Far West is a charity, a non-government organisation that's been operating now for over 90 years to basically provide health services to children in rural and remote areas. 90 years ago we used to bring into Manly children who had polio, who had club feet, who had serious speech difficulties, and they used to live here for extended periods of time. At that stage, there was no services beyond the Blue Mountains. So it was a very, very important service that Royal Far West offered. And today we run across so many families who'd had generations and generations of children who have been to Royal Far West, and they all talk about what an important part it played in their development and their life. We concentrate on 3 main programs. We do the paediatric development program, which is where we bring in children who've got multidisciplinary problems, and they stay with us for a week with their families and they get thoroughly assessed. We then work with local service providers back in their communities to set a ongoing pathway to care. We can track their development and again work with the local service providers. And this is really a very good model of integrated care where we're all playing our part. Another great program we ran recently over the last 2 years was the Healthy Kids Bus Stop program. And this was basically a comprehensive all-of-child assessment for 3 to 5 year olds. So determining at what was their developmental stage as regards getting to school.
The purpose is to bring services together. So we always talk about integrated services, and so what does that mean? That means people coming together in partnership to deliver a program to better support vulnerable and at-risk children and small communities. So what this is all about, the Healthy Kids program, is health and fun, to put those together so that families and children have a better interaction with health, and so that the next time that they present, they will have the recollection of health being fun.
I don't hear beep beep.
I'm Robin Hull. I'm with the Western New South Wales Local Health District, and at this part of the bus stop we check your child's hearing.
We put together a team of health professionals, including nurses and speech pathologists, occupational therapists, dietitians, audiometrists and oral health. And we set up in a venue and we had all these great little kids come round, and they'd go from stop to stop, a bus stop, and they would get assessed by all these specialists. We'd then work together on a particular pathway to care for all of the children who needed it, and you suddenly had a whole group of people taking an interest in these children's health issues and deciding together on the best term of intervention for these kids. It picked up a huge number of problems, and again, it was very much a good example of Royal Far West being the glue. We pulled it together, we coordinated it all, and we worked closely with these other health professionals to make it a very, very good and meaningful service. That at these bus stops, the parents have the opportunity to talk one-on-one with the clinical specialists and ask any questions, and they could be given a small strategy that can have a huge impact on that child's life. Gathering all these specialists in the one place at the one time, it saves the parents months and months of travel, of trying to get into different appointments. The importance of a group of people taking responsibility for the ongoing health and development of these children cannot be underestimated. It's a very powerful thing. So one of the other avenues of intervention that Royal Far West offers is telecare or telehealth or telemedicine. They're known differently in different parts of the world. But it is basically offering intervention or therapy via telecommunication. So we would have our clinicians sitting here in Royal Far West in Manly, and at the other end, within generally a school environment, a teacher might be sitting with a child, and they will conduct therapy sessions with that child. And this has proved to be immensely successful. It obviously saves the travel time, it's very cost effective, and it has proved to be equally as effective as face-to-face.
The beauty of telecare is now everybody across the country, no matter where they live, can access specialised health and education services. We've got many stories of great success using telecare, particularly those focused in the most remote parts of Australia. To be able to beam live into schools and into homes and into community centres to help kids get access to service has been one of the most rewarding and successful parts of all of our work in community telecare. We've got a wonderful group of teachers and clinicians who are absolutely dedicated to making sure that kids in the bush get all the access to services that they need. One of the great things that we take great pride out of now is seeing children, no matter where they are in Australia, benefiting through our speech pathology, our mental health services, our parenting groups and our literacy and reading programs.
This is very much an expanding area of therapy options, and I think will just continue to grow and grow and grow. It does need the support of the community and the cooperation of schools, and also the interaction with the local health services, because they still need to know what is happening with the health and well-being of children within their communities. So again, there is a lot of integration that goes on around these particular services.
Telecare is going to allow us to go from 1,500 families that we support now to 15,000 families, and probably more than that into the future. I'm incredibly excited about that. I'm incredibly proud of that. And it means that we're going to be able to work so closely with local communities and local councils, because the councils and the communities know their issues. And telecare also enables us to communicate very freely with councils and communities and know what their issues are and build products that are absolutely aligned to the needs of those communities. What happens then is communities get stronger. And I'm very proud that if we can help communities in rural and remote Australia become stronger, that's our job. I'll be very happy to have delivered that. There are lovely moments in my job when a mother or a father or a grandmother will want to come in and thank me and the service for the care that they've received, and they tell the story of their little boy or little girl who could not speak, would not engage with his peers, was disenfranchised from friends and his community, and within just a few weeks of being supported through the telecare services, he's engaging, he's in the playground with his making friends. Those are the moments that make it all very special. Those are the moments that make me look at the telecare and go, this is really valuable. What this means for rural communities is that they now have a resource that they can easily tap into. They don't have to travel 1,000 miles, they don't have to stay over in hotels, in regional centres where it's not their home. It's now come into their home. So specialist services under one roof here in Manly are available to rural communities in Australia. That's extraordinary. It means children have a chance.